Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable Podcast. Here, I am Jeffrey Kirby, and let's just go ahead and say this, that Steeler football is back. We are 48 hours, well, probably like 49 hours away from Pittsburgh Steeler football. I could give less of a damn if it's preseason or not. Football is back. And on top of that, this is going to be some very anticipated preseason football for the Pittsburgh Steelers because we have a lot of questions to talk about. We have a lot of things that are going on when it comes to the Steelers and figuring out, what's going on with the offensive line, what's going on with the middle linebacker position. Of course, we always have the quarterback to talk about as well, which we're going to get into as well. And obviously, let's go ahead and let's get started here. So, I think I'm gonna save the quarterback position for last because obviously that's the one that we all know. Because then also I gotta call someone out after. Actually, you know what? The hell with it. We're doing it right now. We're gonna start off with the quarterback position. So I need to call someone out. We all know, if you're a part of Pittsburgh Twitter, if you live in Pittsburgh, you listen to Pittsburgh radio. What's up, Hunter? You guys have all heard of Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan, host of PM Team or whatever it is. And here's the thing it is very, very annoying. We get it. You want Kenny Pickett to start. We get it. We know you have a relationship with him going back to his days at Pitt. We know that. We understand that. But God forbid, damn, can you please stop just shoving him up our throats every day? Whether it's you listen to the show, whether... Sorry about that. Whether it's you're shoving it down our throats on Twitter, we get it. We know that you want Kenny Pickett to start. But God forbid, can you please chill the hell out? You get mad every time you have a host that comes on or a guest that comes on and says that Mitch Trubisky should start. You get pissed off at them about it. We get it. There should be something to say. Listen, everyone looks at... okay, someone texted me, Daniel here. Shout out to Daniel. I would assume it's something with the show. Oh, there we go. When it comes to Kenny Pickett, you do not have to start him week one. If you don't feel like that he is the best quarterback right now to start, you don't have to start him. You don't. There is a reason why you brought in Mitch Trubisky. And the whole idea of, he says, having a bridge quarterback is stupid or whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, it is not. There is a good purpose to that. You remember specifically going back to, I'll get to your comment here in a second. You go back to when Sam Darnold got drafted. You go in that draft. And you remember, I forget who it was, saying when they brought in, who the hell was it? Was it McCown maybe that year? And they said, you don't have to start him right away. If it takes a full year, it takes a full year. If it takes 6 games, it takes 6 games. You're not in a situation like how Jacksonville was with Trevor Lawrence. You're not in a situation like the Jets were with Zach Wilson. You don't have to start him week 1 if you don't feel like he is 100% ready. George Pickens is going to be goated, and I hate admitting it. You don't sign Trubisky to that deal and not start him at Hunt True. And here's the thing. And first off, Daniel, we're going to get into George Pickens in a little bit when we get done with quarterback. And that's the thing, too. You don't sign Trubisky to that deal and not start him. Here's the thing. Yes, the contract is very little when it comes to quarterbacks. But it also gives you some sort of security in the fact that if Kenny Pickett or whoever set QB was going to be that you drafted was not ready, you know that Trubisky has experience. Zach Wilson got that dog in him. He got something in him. don't throw Pickett to the wolves right away. We've already seen that with Rudolph. He's not a starting quarterback, so roll with Trubisky for now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what some people, Andrew Filipponi, needs to get in his damn head. You don't, and here's the thing. We get that he's a little bit older for a starting quarterback. He's 24. He has seen, he's seen some ACC defense, which is not anywhere, and yes, it could be higher quality in terms of just straight up college football, but still, it's a whole other ball game when you're going up in the NFL to play NFL defenses. And we have heard he's still trying to adjust. He's still learning, the timing. He's been a little bit late on his reads, and that's why it is okay to let him sit for a few weeks. There is nothing wrong with letting him, have the hat on, have the headset on, and letting him listen, letting him learn how to prep for games in the NFL, letting him just learn the overall atmosphere of being a quarterback in the NFL. He literally talked about Zach Wilson's name. I did. So, I did, because I brought him up in a situation about why you don't have to start him week 1. And again, that's the thing that I just don't understand when it comes to and it's a very, very select few people who are that hell-bent on starting Kenny Pickett week 1. It seems like, and I think he almost literally admitted that he would rather, now if I'm wrong, I do apologize on this part. It almost sounds like he's willing to root for the back. He's back of the name, or the name on the back of the jersey, rather than rooting for the team on the front of the jersey kind of guy. Like, come on, man. Yes, at the end of the day, we all want to see Kenny Pickett start, because we all want to see that if he's going to be the true quarterback that we drafted for the first time from the first round since 2004 when we had Ben Roethlisberger, we want to see if he's going to be the true heir apparent to Ben Roethlisberger. Of course we want to see that, but if he's not ready, you're in a prime position to where you don't have to do that. Deshaun Watson makes his debut tomorrow night. For now, we'll just keep it at that. But my thing is, again, going with Trubisky as well. He has experience. He's been to the playoffs. He has a winning record as a quarterback. Now, I do have some questions about Trubisky on whether, because we all heard it, and I've been the one saying it too, that Trubisky came from a bad coaching system when he was in Chicago and Matt Nagy and them. And yes, we saw what he did last year in preseason games with Buffalo. Okay, I'm not going to use that a whole lot to anything. I do want to see, however, what he is going to look like, because if he is going to be the starting quarterback of this team week 1, of course, I'm going to root for him 1,000,000%. I hope that he does great. I'm going to, if he's the starter for the whole year and he's playing well, congratulations. I'm happy about it. Because, again, going back to Pony, he's basically saying he's rooting for him to just be he's almost rooting for him to be terrible just so he could get his way. Okay, so what happens if Mitch Trubisky plays terrible? He plays terrible. Everyone starts, booing him, starts wanting Kenny Pickett to come in. Kenny Pickett comes in, and he does not look that good. How are you going to feel then? That's what I thought. Mitch isn't a bum. And you're right, Mitch isn't a bum. And Trubisky, for now, yes, if it's however long it's going to take for Kenny Pickett, for them to feel that he is ready, he can do the job. Like I said, I'm not saying that, and I'm not obviously saying he's out here being Patrick Mahomes, but he's also not Deshaun Kaiser. He's also not Jamarcus Russell, he did that on himself. He's not a super bottom feeder quarterback. He can get the job done for now. You gotta work Kenny into the system, not trying to have another Darnold. And that's the exact example that I want to get, that I gave earlier. Thank you. Sam Darnold was a guy that I believe should not have started week 1. I didn't think he was ready. Hell, Baker Mayfield, speaking for you guys, Baker Mayfield, the number 1 overall pick, didn't play until week 3. And they said that, for example, with Sam Darnold, they said he was the quote-unquote most NFL ready. Clearly, it showed that he was not. Baker Mayfield, the number 1 overall pick, didn't play in the first 2 games. And it took an injury for him to get in. Ben Roethlisberger, the same thing. He didn't start week 1 and 2. He's got in early on in the season. And then obviously it went from there. And we all know the rest is history. Do not agree with Daniel. I mean, if he's saying something that's facts, I'm going to agree with him. I mean, that's simple as that. If I agree with the guy, I'm going to agree with him. But, like here, for example, let me pull up the Steelers' schedule for a minute. Now, obviously, because the first couple weeks are pretty brutal. You have Cincinnati at home. That's going to be a struggle in itself. Now, can you get lucky and do what you did, like, for an example, in Buffalo last year? Yeah, you could get lucky and probably win that game. But also Cincinnati, they upgraded their offensive line. Joe Burrow's coming, he's looking for vengeance. He wants to get back to the Super Bowl and win it. Jamar Chase, we all saw what he did last year. Their defense is still solid. They have some things going for them. Then you have New England. New England, things are looking a little weird for them this year, but I'm never going to count out Bill Belichick. Then obviously the anticipated matchup for us, for example, for us 3 right here. The Cleveland game versus in Cleveland Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a tough game in itself. Those games are always going to be tough. They have been the last few years. The Jets are the Jets. Then you go to you're in Buffalo in October. They're going to be in midseason form. Then you have the Jets. Oh wait, no. So you have the Bills. Then you have Tampa Bay. We all know how that's going to be. Then you have obviously the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Saints. I mean, this is not an easy schedule by all means anyway. Aaron Rodgers, exactly. He didn't start. Wow. Aaron Rodgers didn't start for how many years? 2 or 3 years? So that's the thing. You don't, and that's the thing too that I don't like. And it has a mixture to do with the fans and media and all that. They pressure you into having to start week 1 or starting as early as possible. And if you don't have absolute immediate success, then you are an absolute failure. And I absolutely hate that notion from quarterbacks. Yes, you have some quarterbacks like Justin Herbert who broke the touchdown record for Baker Mayfield. You have a couple quarterbacks who come in right away and play well. Patrick Mahomes didn't start for a whole year. They traded up, they got him. He's played 1 game in 2017, came in 2018, and the rest is history. Now, am I saying that Kenny Pickett's going to be Patrick Mahomes? Not a chance in hell. But that's the thing. There's been quite a few instances where you could look and say, listen, these guys didn't start right away, and it did them wonders. Just some people don't get it, or they don't want to get it because their head is so shoved up their own ass that they just want it this one way, and if that's not it, well, then everyone is stupid and blah, 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 and it's honestly gotten ridiculous. It's very stupid. Let's be honest here. So, there's that, and then obviously, and here's the other thing, too, and this is something that I wanted to hit, and I'm going to bring it up here now, and this was another thing that I saw that was funny. Mason Rudolph. We've been getting reports that Mason Rudolph's going to play probably 2 quarters. And I saw some people bitching and complaining, oh, why is he getting the most playtime, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Number 1, there's multiple things when it comes to this. Number 1, it's a preseason game. Number 2, this could also be an audition for him that if he goes out there and balls out, now I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there might be a chance that you could possibly use him as a trade, try to trade him. There's not many teams that's really looking for quarterbacks right now. But say there's always this the wild off the wall chance that maybe Seattle, they see what they like out of him on Saturday night, and maybe they want to throw a pick at it, at the Steelers and try to get him or whatever. That we've seen that. I mean that's a real possibility. But again, there's nothing wrong with him playing multiple quarters in this. I mean, I'm not going to be, I'll hear some people say, well, good, maybe he could get hurt. No, I ain't doing all that. I know a lot of Steeler fans don't like Mason Rudolph. He could annoy the hell out of me sometimes, but again, we don't root for injuries around here, especially on your own team. But regardless, that doesn't matter. You don't root for injuries, period. It also helped Mahomes that he had Alex Smith in the Big Red. Exactly. I mean, now obviously, if you're Kenny Pickett, you wish you would have had, Alex Smith, who's had success, who had a lot of success in the NFL. But Mitch Trubisky is a guy he's been willing to help him learn. He's came out and said, "Listen, yeah, we're competing, but if he asks me a question, I'm not going to just vie away from him." No, he's willing to be a leader. He's willing to help out. And that's what you want. Because at the end of the day, yes, you are competing for the same job. Well, I don't even know if it's competing, because the way that this is going, it seems like there is no competition. Which, again, this is something that Mike Tomlin wants to do. Mike Tomlin, because this is the first time in his career as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers where he was able to draft a quarterback and make him his own. So he's wanting to take this slow. He wants to, really show, let him learn the offense, let him learn things when it comes to the Steelers. And there's, we all know that when the Steelers defense is fully healthy, it can be a top defense in the NFL. We've seen it the last few years outside of last year, but we've seen them for the last 5 years where they've been a top 5 defense, where you're going up against TJ Watt. You're going up against Cam Hayward. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick roaming around in the secondary. You have that, which can be very good for you as well. It's just a matter of learning and anticipating the offense, anticipating your throws, learning where your windows are and everything. There's nothing wrong with it's just I don't know. It's just frustrating. It's very frustrating. Let's get on to George Pickens here, because Steelers Twitter has just been nothing. It's been, they say there's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and George Pickens becoming a menace in Steelers training camp. He has looked like a dog. He has looked phenomenal. He is continuously, day after day, making plays, and he has become the story of camp. It seems like he's almost overlapped the quarterback situation. But can we please chill out with the almost... It seems like some of these unrealistic comparisons and stuff that we're getting. I mean, I've heard him, he's going to be he's the second coming of Jerry Rice. And you have some people who will mess around with it. No, there are a lot of people who are being serious. He's a mixture of Megatron, Joe Montana, or Jerry Rice and all that. Can we please stop? Can we please stop? Can we see him play in an actual game first? Because the question that I have is he that good? Or is our secondary or our DBs that bad? That's my question. Is he actually Is he actually going to be a menace to DBs in the future? Or is he just giving our DBs a lot of issues because our DBs are not that good? Because remember, again, I know Joe Hayden was on the decline. He's not on this team, so you don't have that veteran leadership right now. You brought in Levi Wallace. You have a Kella Witherspoon. Kella Witherspoon had a couple nice games down the stretch last year. Levi Wallace isn't, that QB or that cornerback 1, but at the end of the day, he can still be he's a very serviceable corner, and I was very happy with him coming here. But I just want people to chill out. And I get that having the hype is fun. It's all fun and games. We're all enjoying it. For you guys as well, I know you guys might have, for you guys, Jerome Ford. You guys, I've seen a lot of Browns fans have a lot of hype in him. So you have people, everyone's going to have their guy that is making, they're doing great in camp, and and their fan base is really hyped over them. But my thing is, can we just please chill the absolute hell out. And again, I've heard that there has been 3 times where I think that there have been rookie wide receivers who just came out and really terrorized teams. Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Can George Pickens get on that list? He has, if he's doing what he's doing in camp against other DBs, absolutely. But again, the quarterback situation is going to be a little interesting. And here's what's funny too about this. From what we've been hearing during 7 shots and during different drills, the quarterbacks seem to be looking the best when it's George Pickens that they're throwing the football to. And we all know, obviously we've seen the picture of him, during draft day. I just used that GIF a couple days ago. I'm hyped for that new guy named Wishon Datson. Oh boy. In fact, I'm actually going to, there will be a reaction video to that game tomorrow because I'm doing a lot of reactions this year. So I'll definitely make sure to try and get a reaction for that game. Especially if his brother Deshaun Watson does play, because it's gonna be very interesting to see what he looks like. Because obviously, being a guy that lives in Cleveland, I remember that 2019. I think we were doing a show during the 2019 first preseason game, and obviously, I think it was against Washington, if I'm not mistaken, and they just went down the field and like absolute ease. And again, it's preseason, and then the hype was going nuts. I think that's what would happen here, but we also don't know what the suspension's going to be like. And yeah, I mean, that's all I'm really going to say about that. I'm not going to be that guy right now. Moving on to the offensive line. Because obviously right now you have the competition between Kendrick Green and Kevin Dotson. Right now, Kevin Dotson is hurt, so it seems like Kendrick Green right now is going to win that right now by default because Dotson is hurt. I mean, at the end of the day, if he's going to be the guy that was better, good. I want to see what he's going to be like, because at the end of the day, we need this offensive line to be good. We all know that last year it was just not good at all. Dan Moore, rookie left tackle last year, he was fine. Not great, not bad. He was fine. I'm okay with him being a mid to late round draft pick last year for what he did. Obviously, you had Kevin Dotson. He got hurt down the stretch. He has potential, but sometimes you just wonder about him. Kendrick Green, we all know he just should not have been playing center. He just should not have been playing center, and he even admitted it. You had, what the hell? Trey Turner last year. He was good 5 years ago. Now. Then you have Chuks Okorafor, who you gave $10 million a year to in the offseason. And, now he has a lot to prove. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he's the second highest paid player on this offense right now, which is absolutely hilarious. But, so yeah, you have questions now because you have what's going to happen. I'm very interested to see what's just going to happen with the interior part of this offensive line. Because now from right now, I'll pencil in Kendrick Green as your starting left guard, which is his more natural position to begin with. You have Mason Cole, who you brought in from Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, I heard someone say it was James Daniels. Where James Daniels is a guy that his best position they believe could be center. But he played fine at guard last year. But he played center his rookie year. James Daniels did not work out that well. But now with a few years under his belt, it might be interesting to see what he could look like later on as a center if an emergency situation were needed. Then obviously you have Chuks Okorafor. We just talked about him. He's going to have issues. I want to see if he can continue on with this improvement. But I think the offensive line is going to be very important here. And in fact, my co-host Caleb, who isn't here today, he sent me a tweet that was very interesting. And it was from Chris Muller, who's ironically Pony's his co-host. He said, "I'm watching the Steelers' offensive line way more closely than any other group or player on Saturday. All the QB /Pickens /Devin Bush, which we'll get to here shortly, talk becomes irrelevant if that line can't gel into at least an average group. It's the elephant in the room. First off, well, average will be a whole lot better than what you got last year. And I agree to a certain extent. I don't think that... I think it can make the linebacker position irrelevant. I think that could be a case. But quarterback, I don't agree with. And Pickens, we'll see what happens with him, like we just mentioned. The offensive line, obviously we need to see a lot of improvement. Because we see what, they always say that games are won and lost in the trenches. Inside, and you build from the inside out. That's what I've always believed in, and that's a philosophy I've always believed in when it comes to football. Build from the inside out. If you can have yourself a good offensive line, or a great offensive line, you're doing something for yourself. Now, obviously, the quarterback the position does matter, but again, we need to see more of that gelling. And this goes back to the very first episode, or the very early parts of the episodes that we had last year during, for the Renegade Roundtable podcast here. I mentioned on numerous occasions, it was going to take time to gel, but it was just how much of an improvement were we going to see. And last year we did not see much of an improvement at all. So I'm very curious to see if we could get more of an improvement with better guys on the offensive line. Now it does help the fact that you also have a quarterback who's actually going to fit your system, because again, this was something that I mentioned last year, Ben Roethlisberger did not fit Matt Canada's system whatsoever. We all knew that. If you knew football, you knew that. And I'm not going to sit here I'm saying something that no one else has said. If you know football, you understood. Ben Roethlisberger did not fit that system. Now you have a guy that can. The offensive line needs to be better. If you want to have any sort of success this year, this offensive line really needs to help, because it could really help out the run game as well. Najee Harris, it seemed like he just could not get anything going for most of the year because of the fact that he just simply could not run the football effectively in terms of yards per carry. Last year, he didn't even average 4 yards a carry last year. That's an issue. You need your star running back. If he's going to be the bell horse running back that Mike Tomlin likes and wants Najee Harris to be, this offensive line needs to improve tremendously. This offense can't be bottom third or bottom fourth in the NFL. You need at least average. At least. If this defense can hold up, give me an average offense, and I think we could do I think that makes us Super Bowl contenders? No. But I still want to see more improvement from this offensive line and just overall this team. There's going to be some questions that we will see later on down the stretch, especially going into the preseason. Last position group that obviously I'm going to talk about is obviously the Devin Bush, Robert Spillane, Miles Jack, the middle linebacker position. Now, as you can see, it's ironic. I'm wearing a Devin Bush jersey right now. Now, I didn't do that on purpose, but I knew he was going to be a guy I would talk about. Devin Bush is a guy that we all know that when we drafted him, we traded up for him, 10th overall coming out of Michigan, we thought he was going to be the guy to replace what Ryan Chase here had brought us for the few years that he was here before the devastating injury. And we all saw that this defense just simply was not the same without that speedy middle linebacker that was going to be able to go sideline to sideline and be a tackling machine. 2019, he looked pretty good. 2020, obviously, we saw he got hurt. In 2021, he was abysmal. Now, you could partially give him a pass because maybe, and we all know, and I've said this on numerous occasions, Hunter, you could be the witness to this as well when I talked about Odell. I said, for you guys last year when it came to Odell, I said 2021, I wouldn't fully worry about, it'd be 2022. And you can say the same exact thing here. 2021 last year for Devin Bush, his mental was not there. Maybe he had trust issues when it came to his knee. I could understand that. But this year you can't use that as an excuse anymore. You didn't get your fifth year option picked up. There's a reason for it. you need to go and ball out. Because, yeah, you're in a contract year. You want to go and get paid? You need to have a monster year this year. Simple as that. They brought in Brian Flores. Now, whether he should actually be calling plays or not, that's a story for a different day. But you brought in Brian Flores. Brian Flores as linebackers coach or whatever the hell kind of actual tag that they put on him to bring him in. We all know his credentials in the NFL. He could be a guy that can really help you out. But you gotta have a good year this year. True. Yeah, it's simple as that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You brought in Miles Jack. Miles Jack last year, I mean, he's had 200-something tackles the last 2 years. We all know the story about him and his knee from coming out of UCLA. And then you have Robert Spillane, who's a guy that he's not obviously Bobby Wagner, but he's not terrible either. I think overall, if you could have those three, especially with this defense, the way that how important the middle linebacker position is with this defense, if you could get those three guys to collectively play pretty, good. I'm not going to say great. You would love to see great. I just don't know how realistic that is. But if you could get them to play pretty damn good and not have to have Minkah Fitzpatrick go and basically play as another linebacker this year, that would help improve a lot. I think we need to see more improvement from this defense. Because last year was not it. And a lot had to do with the middle linebacker position. Joe Schobert wasn't it. I know I saw some Steelers, and this is what was funny about it. Joe Schobert was a guy that obviously I knew what he was. He could get you a lot of tackles, but he's also going to miss a lot of tackles. A lot of people thought he might come in and just become the second coming of Ray Lewis. You were stupid for that. And we all see that now. You see where he's at. Not on this team. So, that's kind of my thing when it comes to that. Obviously, when it comes to this game on Saturday, when it comes to the Steelers, obviously we're all going to be curious to see what QB is going to look the best. My thing that I'm going to be looking forward to the most, I want to see, if Larry Ogunjobi plays, I want to see what he's going to be like, because I think he can have a very important role on this defense next to Tyson Alualu and Cam Hayward. And obviously the interior part of that offensive line. I want to see what Kendrick Green is going to look like at guard. I want to see Mason Cole, James Daniels. I want to see those guys trying to gel together. Dan Moore, are we going to see more of an improvement from him? We'll be very curious to see what happens with that. I'll be very interested. And obviously, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Seattle in terms of their quarterback situation. I'm not really too worried about them. Obviously, we have our own issues that we want to handle as well. Other than that, obviously, we get the Field of Dreams game that will be coming on here shortly. That will be a video I will react to. As long as the game is somewhat of entertaining, it's just a 1-0 boring game, I probably won't. But if a game is if it's like how it was last year, you can bet your ass I will react to that game tonight. There will be a video of that tonight. There will also be 2 more. We should have a total of 3 videos that come out tonight. We should. We have obviously the other two preseason games that are coming out that are tonight. Giants, Patriots, and Ravens, Titans. So that's going to be very fun to, can we talk about for a second why Baltimore tries so hard in preseason? Like, I get that you want to get better, but they've won like 20 straight. What? The last time I think they lost a preseason game was like 2016. They care a lot about preseason over there. We'll see how many championships it's gotten them, but I guess I gotta take my little dig at Baltimore for a minute. Their whole situation is just with the quarterback situation. They did get Justin Tucker re-signed, which I do think was very smart for them. Obviously, he is such a threat there, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. I will say, I do have a lot of respect for Justin Tucker. Can we talk about real quick about how this could possibly be the best kicking division of football? I mean, Evan McPherson last year, we all saw what he did down the stretch, especially in the playoffs. Justin Tucker is Justin Tucker. Chris Boswell had one bad year, and outside of that, he's been a pretty damn good kicker. Cade York, if everything seems like they're going out there in camp, wherever the hell their camp is, it seems like everything is going good there. If Cade York could be a dog and be an absolute threat for the Browns, if Evan McPherson continues to do what he did last year, Justin Tucker, as long as he doesn't fall off the face of the earth, and Chris Boswell have another good year like you did last year, this is by far going to be the best kicking division of football. And oh boy, it'll be fun to see. It's going to be a whole lot of headaches, a whole lot of hair pulling, and a whole lot of heartaches. That's what I see with this division when it comes to the AFC North in terms of kicking. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have much else to talk about, really. Next week, so I will say next week, there will be no episode of the Renegade Roundtable podcast. I will be out of town. Basically, I'll just put it out there. I'm going to watch baseball for 4 days in 4 different cities. Or we're going to Minnesota, Chicago, and Milwaukee for 4 days to go watch some baseball. And so I'm excited about that. There will be a vlog about it for sure. I might do a poll and see if you guys would want... I don't know if I want to just do one big giant video or do 4 videos of me vlogging each and every of those days. We'll see what happens. I might do that. Might just do 4 separate videos because we're going to obviously Minnesota to see the Twins, Milwaukee to see the Brewers, and then both Chicago. So I get to go to Wrigley and go to Guaranteed Rate. So that's going to be fun as hell. So, but yeah, so there will be no episode. And obviously, Caleb next week, we talked about him doing an episode by himself, but he won't be able to because that's the day they actually move in. So, so there will be no episode next week, but we will be back with a vengeance, and it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be fun as hell. But I think until then, checking to see if there's any big news. If there's not, Antonio Brown being Antonio Brown again. So obviously he's been he's just something else to say the least. Let's talk about that for a minute. So let me pull this up. Let me read out to you what Antonio Brown said, because I at this point I don't know anymore. He really pulled out some narcissistic stuff right here. He put out a statement, and it's legit. It came from his Twitter and his Snapchat too. I can't believe I'm about to read this. My biggest regret in my career doesn't involve calling my GM a quote-unquote cracker or showing up to a Raiders camp late in a hot air balloon with frozen feet or throwing rocks at that UPS driver. It definitely doesn't involve taking my shirt off and doing a victory lap around the Jets stadium mid-game while throwing up the deuces. My biggest regret is that I'll never get to see me, Antonio Brown, play a game live. Sure, I could watch the game afterwards, but I can't imagine what that was like for you all to see something like that. Like watching the Beatles or Jesus perform at Red Rocks. What the hell, Antonio Brown? You, my friend, have all kinds of CTE, I think, at this point. And I don't like using that phrase lightly. But either that, or he is by far the most narcissistic person, can't say that I've ever met, that I've ever seen. Because, wow. And the comments to that are just amusing. They're just great. But other than that, I think that's about it. I don't really have much else to say. Till then, hope to see you guys again not next week. I hope to see you guys in the next video. We should have 3 videos coming out tonight and a whole lot more videos coming out this weekend in terms of reactions for preseason games, because that's something I want to get you guys is a lot of a lot of reactions. A lot of interactions too while you're at it. Till then, we are about 5 subscribers away from 500, so please go hit the subscribe button. Also, we're very close on 100,000 total views, which is very cool, so make sure to click on any of my videos and go watch them. But until then, hope to see you guys in the next video or the next live stream when we do that here in 2 weeks. Till then, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, have fun, peace out. Go Steelers.